Good morning, fellow believers. This is Bill DeBoer again, and we're getting ready to start in Daniel chapter 6. And the title of Daniel chapter 6 is going to be Here, Kitty, Kitty. Now, if you're familiar with Daniel and you know what's going on, it'll make sense once you read through the chapter. It's a very interesting chapter. As we say before, Daniel is really excellent book. I mean, it's a page turner. It really is. And so we're going to be working on Daniel chapter 6, and then I'll be back on the other side when we're done. Make sure you have your Bibles with you so you can follow along with us. You all take care. I'll see you later. Bye. 5,
Meow,
4,
meow,
3, 2,
meow, 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 meow. Roar.
There you go.
Meow.
A little roaring there.
Roar. Daniel to the lion's den. God delivers. Daniel prospers in Darius and Cyrus's kingdom. Well, I'll say, you just
Finished, right?
That was it. Now for the food, fun, and fellowship class. It's hard to bring a good man down, Bill. Have you noticed that about old Daniel?
I know it. He is.
All the time he gives God the credit for it, and that's what we have to remember.
And we still can't get, and Darius, he really likes Daniel.
Yeah. Now Darius, I do believe, reading this and a few of the commentaries, I think Darius was not a bad guy. I don't think he was an evil leader. I think he was a pretty good boy who had some common sense. But we're going to read here and find out that yet in his politeness, he has a little chinch in his armor. Is that the word?
Chink.
Chink. CHINQUE. Chink in his armor.
Chink in the armor.
And that would be his ego, especially when it is put to him by his leaders here.
Yeah.
So we're going from the head of gold, which was Nebuchadnezzar, which was the ruler. He didn't answer to nobody, and in fact, if he didn't want to ask anybody, he didn't ask anybody. He made the decision himself. So verse 1 says, I want to make one announcement, or a couple announcements about, on this study last week, we were leaving off of chapter 5, and now we're going into about, because 5:31 says, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. So he's about 62 years old, which means this is about 539 BC. And one of the references last week that Connie read that goes along with the end times that we're getting into in 6, 7, 8 in Daniel, it was out of 2 Thessalonians, and I said it was in 60 or 61, but it was about 50, 51, 52 around there. So I wanted to correct that. When Paul wrote to the church at Thessalonica, I do remember saying 60, and it wasn't. Sometimes I get decades mixed up. Also, speaking of Connie, she has a brand new song that she's written, and Brad Davis has helped her out and produced it for her. It's a Christmas song, and it's called Christmas Day, and that'll be coming out later on later on in November. I already got November's calendar up because tomorrow's November. November the 26th, I believe, the day after Thanksgiving and her birthday. Connie's going to be.
Happy birthday, Connie.
Yeah, she'll be 53 on the 25th.
Oh, I'm your trouble.
Yeah, and Connie's older than me, so I can say that.
Okay.
Anyway, it's called Christmas Day, and plus she's recorded a beautiful version of Oh Holy Night, and that'll be released the day after Thanksgiving also. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful.
So yeah, Bill's up getting him another cup of coffee.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually learned to play on my horn.
It's beautiful, yeah. But anyway, it's a different. She's got a different music to it. It's beautiful. So be listening to it on all of your what do you call these devices? These things.
You know,
iPads, iPhones. I have arthritis.
Way to go, Sam. Keep it going.
DistroKid and what's that other one? There's a big thingy that you can listen to.
The iPad?
You download, no, not that. A big realm, whatever you call it. I can't think of the name of it. iTunes.
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 Oh, so the music will be on iTunes. You can purchase it then. Oh.
Yeah.
And that'll be on after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, on the 26th.
It's not on iTunes yet?
Yeah. It's called Oh Holy Night. And you know that one, but she does a really good version of it. And then her song is called Christmas Day. It's beautiful. And she and Brad Davis, if y'all know Mr. Brad Davis, is an excellent Grammy Award winning musician, songwriter, producer. Big time people from Nashville and Los Angeles use this man, and he has helped Connie out quite a bit on this song, and Connie's done a good job writing it. Anyway, Daniel chapter 6. Oh yeah, too, you know what today is? I wanted to go over this a little bit, the thing about Halloween. Halloween. Or you can also call it the worship of demons.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 18 verses 10 through 12 tell us, don't do that. 1 Corinthians 10, 20 and 21 says, don't talk with the demons. You should have a conversation. You shouldn't converse with demons. I started with the Samhain Celtics. About 2,000 years ago, they would they believed that the dead, spirits of the dead, would visit with them. And according to Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 5, we're not supposed to have anything to do with that because they are real. According to 1 and 2 Samuel, we're told not to have medians or use medians to delve into darkness, dark magic, or the realm of the dead. The Bible's very clear on that. And the Celts would dress up in ghoulish outfits. They would use that to fool the actual dead that they thought might visit them on the road, might meet them on the road, right in the field, or whatever else. They would go house to house to ask for small gifts, dressed up as these ghoulish, in ghoulish outfits, like you would picture a dead person walking around. Zombies, werewolves, witches,
Goblins.
And then,
Goblins.
Goblins, yeah, that's a good thing. When I was, if you've watched Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, and some of those wars, when it goes way down to the pit and you see all those things down there, and like they're right there, you just think that they would dress up like, who would want to look like that? Who alive would want to put on something that looked like that just to fool something that you think a dead person is visiting you? They're dead. And then in Old England, they would hollow out turnips. I like turnips. Turnip greens too. They would hollow out turnips, and then it led into a bigger head would be the pumpkin. It led into that, the pumpkin. They would carve that out, have a lantern, a jack-o'-lantern. Have you heard that before? Jack-o'-lantern. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
The term jack-o'-lantern. Well, this is what this is talking about. They would hollow one out, carve out a design of a soul that they would think was being in purgatory, held, trying to go to the next realm. And put a light in it so they could lead its way into the next realm, whatever else.
Yeah.
So, carved to show the face of the one in purgatory. Anyway, stay away from that stuff, folks. Halloween and the worship of demons and dressing your little boy or girl up in an outfit like a skeleton, that's nasty. It's unnecessary. So I was eating a whole pound of candy tonight. Send it to me. Alrighty, verse 1 of chapter 6. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, or satraps, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, or chiefs, whom Daniel, how about that? Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage, or not suffer any loss financially, that everything that should be paid or should go into the administrative treasury would be correct. So that answers your question, Bill. Last week you left off. So Belshazzar made him third in the kingdom. How long is he going to stay third? Well, not very long. Just a few hours later, right. A day or two after Darius set himself up. But we also get out of that too, fulfilling what Jeremiah said. What do you have there in Jeremiah? Did you have Jeremiah 27:7?
Jeremiah 27:7 says, all the nations will serve him, his son and his grandson, until his time is up. Then many nations and great kings will conquer and rule over Babylon.
So now then we're leaving off that. We won't be referencing that too much anymore of what Jeremiah prophesied over to his people, Judah, because of this man Nebuchadnezzar coming. His stay is gone. The gold is gone. It is now silver. The dream that he had, the image that he had, it is now silver. Darius and Cyrus, Darius is going to rule a couple of years, and then Cyrus is going to take his place. The Medes and the Persians. The Persians were always a little bit more dominant. They're also going to be the bear in the next chapter, as was Nebuchadnezzar, the gold and the lion. So we're still talking about these good old boys, but his time has come now. Notice what it just said in these first two verses here of chapter 6. Darius doesn't set himself up to be the rule, the only one like Nebuchadnezzar. He has 120 princes over him, or leaders along with him. So it's diminishing from gold into silver, from the most precious into a heavier metal but less precious, and it's diminishing not only in quality but also in power. You see that? It's not just his say and that's it. That's no questions, no bones about it. And he has 3 presidents over all of these princes, so he has other leaders to help him. And Daniel happens to be the boss, number 1. Absolutely. So there's Darius the king, and then this little old boy who was taken from his realm of Israel. Now then he is about 80 years old.
Yeah, he's not a young kid.
Okay, and he is now first in the kingdom, right under the king, right under Darius, okay?
What happened to the other 3 buddies of his?
Well, we're going to ask that question here because if you'll remember a few chapters back, they were thrown into a fiery furnace,
right.
And the question was, well, where is Daniel? Now then, Daniel is going to be going, here, kitty, kitty, and we're saying, well, where is Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
Bingo.
The thing is,
I'm excited to hear this.
The thing is, God is teaching us that no matter where you are, He is in control, and He always has a remnant that He pulls out. Whether that remnant is all together or not, there's still the remnant of God. So Daniel, in this one, is the remnant that he's pulled out. We're wondering where his buddies are, but they're still there. Just like we were wondering earlier, where's Daniel? And the focus was on the 3 friends.
Right. You said that Daniel was off doing business.
Administrative work,
business.
Yeah, sure enough, he was busy.
They're doing business.
Of course, some translations may go, he was around the corner going, I don't know them. I don't know those guys. I don't know those wise
I
guys.
never knew them.
I never knew them, yeah. That wasn't the way it was, not with him. But notice that right off the bat, we see in the administration, how everything is diminishing just as the dream is coming true. What the rest of the chapters, folks, the rest of the story is after Nebuchadnezzar's dream of the vision. Daniel interprets that dream, and we're seeing it fulfilled. Verse 3 says, Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was found in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Well, Bill, how do you think that made these other guys feel?
I don't think they were very happy.
They were not very happy about this. First
to
of all,
have a Jew over a bunch of...
Absolutely, an old Jew now, an 80-year-old dude tottering around. I don't think he was tottering.
No, I know, no.
But here Daniel is, and he is a Jew. They know the story. They're being filled in. If you're in the realm of the upper echelon here, you know the story about the palace. You know what's going on in the kingdom. So they certainly don't look at Daniel and go, oh, we just love him. He is a wonderful man. No. In fact, we're fixing to read what they feel about him. And I want to ask you out there, folks, do y'all have people around you? You're trying to be the Daniel in your community, in your realm, in your house, in your workplace, whatever, wherever you are. You're trying to be the person of God. Do you have one or several people around you that just try to get at you? Well, let's see how Daniel handles this.
I wonder if Darius kind of figured this out pretty quickly, how good Daniel is.
Yes.
Because, Daniel had been under other kings for many years, and he must have heard about this guy, you know.
Yep.
Now we go on.
Well, the thing that sticks out, and now we've read it 3 times already, is right there in the middle of 3, because an excellent spirit was in him. Now, even Belshazzar and his mom, grandma, saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Nebuchadnezzar saw that. Remember, after the diet that they all went on, it was found that they were better, that they looked better, that they were smarter. They were 10 times smarter than everybody in the Babylonian kingdom. So there's a healthy glow about this man.
Yeah, and what I was getting at is, though, they had to have heard about him.
Yeah. Now then, read 4 and 5 and 6.
Okay, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And then the other administrators and high officers began searching for some fault in the way Daniel was handling government affairs, but they couldn't find anything to criticize or condemn. He was faithful, always responsible, and completely trustworthy. So they concluded our only chance of finding grounds for accusing Daniel will be in connection with the rules of his religion. So the administrators in high offices went to the king and said, "Long live King Darius."
So here they are. They have come together. They've assembled themselves together. It says a little later on.
They have
And they are
conspiracy.
There's a conspiracy. These guys, these wise guys, they're not satisfied with the position that they are in. It's because there is one that has the Spirit of God in him, and their evil spirit is battling against that spirit. That's what it boils down to. Just like 1 Peter says that our enemy, our adversary, the devil, is out roaring around. He's out searching. He's not asleep right now. He's not tame and asleep and well taken care of. He is out roaring like a lion, very fitting here, seeking whom he may devour. These guys are seeking out something in Daniel's life. And notice that a few days have passed, a few weeks have passed, maybe a month or two, maybe even several months have passed, and there is nothing that Darius tells Daniel to do that he doesn't do. There's nothing that when Daniel sets his mind to it, he does it. He represents the kingdom. He is who he is, and he also is administratively inclined in the kingdom of Darius. The other guys see that and they go, there is nothing in his work, there's nothing in his abilities that we can come with an accusation to Darius with. So what do they go after? His belief, his faith.
And they're going to trick Darius.
Well, they're going to butter him up.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was thinking another thing there too is that Daniel, King, had Daniel. He had an eye for Daniel because he knew he had to have known how this guy operated.
They've been doing pretty good for the last 25 or 30 years with this old boy in charge. Let's just keep it that way. Let's just, don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And I guess you could say the old king wasn't micromanaging anymore.
No, it's interesting too on that line, Line, that usually someone that takes over a kingdom around has everybody killed. I mean, they don't even ask questions. They just have everybody killed that's in any kind of administrative place because they set up their own.
Right.
Well, we know for a fact that this man didn't do that right off the bat because here Daniel is. So the Spirit of God is protecting him, allowing these guys to see there's something special about that man.
Right.
It says it over and over again. Don't discount what it says there in 3. An excellent spirit was found in him. Is that the way the world sees you?
No.
I can't. It's not.
But not the way it sees me.
You don't have an excellent spirit in you?
Well, yeah.
Do people not see? There's something different about Bill now. He's not.
Yeah. I misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah. Does the world see that there's something, even if they don't know you?
Yeah.
That there's something about you. There's something attractive about you, your demeanor,
now
your
I
spirit.
understand.
Yeah, right. This is the way it should be in every believer. So here they are. They're trying to find fault in him, and they can't. So they go after the one thing that they think they can, which is, of course, from the enemy, from the adversary, the devil. Let's go after his religion. Let's go after his beliefs. And now then, they know that the Persian law, and here's what's here. Let's read into it. 6 says, for these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said unto him, O King Darius, live forever. False flattery there. Mm-hmm. Is a man going to live forever? No. It's just a false flattery. So they come up to him, O king, here we are. Here is all of your leaders. We're the 120 leaders, and O king, live forever, etc., etc. You're just the greatest thing. And verse 7 says, all the presidents and the kingdom, the governors and the princes and the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree. Now, who did this? Did Darius do this, or did they come up with it?
They came up with it.
They came up with it. That lets you know this isn't Nebuchadnezzar on the throne anymore. Nobody, I don't think, went up to Nebuchadnezzar and said, oh, I've got an idea. Here's what you should do. Nebuchadnezzar would look at him and go,
off with the head.
Excuse me? Okay. But Darius here, this just shows you. Read along, folks. It all makes perfect sense how the Bible is already interpreting itself. So we've come up to establish a royal statute there in 7, and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, right off the thought pattern there, they came up with this because do you think they had been watching, they had been spying out on old Daniel? Because clearly we're going to read that Daniel had not a habit, but a lifestyle of every day going into his quarters, into his chambers, and facing Jerusalem 3 times a day and praying to the God of Israel. You think they'd been seeing that? Of course they had. In fact, they probably walked by and went, what is he saying? Oh God of Israel, Jehovah, Yahweh, Adonai, have mercy on me. Oh my goodness. Who is this Yahweh, Jehovah, Adonai that he's talking to? And they scurry back and they report. And they might watch him the next day and then the next day. And so here is how they think they're going to get to him, because why? Like I said earlier, they can't find any fault, no occasion in, we're going to report this man that he's mismanaging the funds. No, right on the money. Right on the dime every time. His cash register came up to the penny, to the denarius every day. Mm-hmm. Everything is going to the king's administrative treasury. And keep that in mind too, by the way, folks.
Whatever he's doing, he excels at.
Everything. Everything is excellent, and his work is excellent, and it excels, absolutely, and so Darius sees too. Right. But keep that in mind too, that God already has something set up. If you want to read ahead, if you want to read what's going to happen, that this administrative fund, the Mede and Persian treasury, how God is going to use a big portion of that under Cyrus to aid Israel in rebuilding their walls. It's fascinating. Oh my goodness, it's fascinating.
Oh, you told the story.
Yes.
You let it out.
Anyway,
because we wanted to have a cliffhanger here.
Did you want to have a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Well, you can go hang off a cliff if you want.
Well, you know what I mean. We got to end the story at a point where people are going to say, what's next?
Wasn't that old boy years ago, a Russian leader,
Stalin?
Yuri Andropov? You can go to the side of the cliff and drop off?
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Remember him, Yuri Andropov? Yeah. I wonder if they ever went to the Kremlin and said, oh, President Yuri, go to the cliff and drop off.
And that probably ended up with
off with your head. Yeah. Well, if you want to go back to Ezra, Ezra 4 tells about this story of the Jewish people realizing that the God of Israel was Israel. They thought this was his home base on earth, and so which it is, his name's written there. But that's where they would direct their prayers, was back to Israel. So they've been watching this man Daniel. Right. So here in 8 they see this and they come up with this decree, this interdict is what they have. And they are flattering Darius. If you'll notice throughout these verses, they're flattering him, saying, we have it all written up But it doesn't really mean anything until you sign it, Darius. Your signature on this will make it the law. Well, he goes, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm the Median king, and under the Median and Persian law. Now, here's the catch, Bill. Even the king couldn't disobey the law. Even the king couldn't change this edict.
And once it
was signed, that was it.
Yep.
Absolutely. My goodness, I had a lot of notes on that, but I didn't read all of them. So, where are we in 7? If you want to read the story, he's ego tripping now. So Esther 1:19 and Ezra chapter 4 says that the decree, once the decree is out, which the king had signed, that he is put now as law, cannot be revoked. It's irrevocable. And do you think all of his counselors and princes and governors and all that know this? Absolutely.
Sure they do.
So here's my question. Why doesn't Darius go to Daniel and say, what do you think about this? It doesn't say that anywhere at all.
That's a good question.
He's number one. We know he's out ruling and reigning and doing the thing in the kingdom, stuff like that. Maybe he's not in the palace per se at that moment when they come up to him, which I'm pretty sure he's not. They've waited until Daniel may be out on
a fact-finding tour.
So, yeah, there you go. Making sure everything is okay in the realm.
Right.
So this is when they bring this up. Notice how this is a scheme. You notice how they work?
Sure.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
8 says, now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it may not be changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. Psalm 141, Ezra 4, Esther 1:9, all talks about how that once it is signed by these people that it doesn't change. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now notice that what my question was, I wrote it here in my Bible, where was Daniel? Why did he not go to Daniel? Why did he not say, well, bring in my number one man. He has an excellent spirit in him. The Spirit of God is with this man. It's on this man, and he has great understanding, and a mighty word comes forth from him when you ask him certain questions. And he's been doing this for years, and he's proven. This man is proven. So why would he not say, look over this right quick, what do you think about it? I think I'm going to go ahead and sign it, but what do you think about it? He didn't ask him that.
No.
Now then, do you think Darius is aware that Daniel goes to his house 3 times a day?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think he does.
Oh, I don't know, Bill. I
mean, depending on where Darius is,
yeah,
he could be out in the middle of La Land out there,
yeah,
and he's still doing his praying. I'm sure he knows that Daniel prays.
Yes.
And I'm sure he knows he praises to his God of Israel.
And Darius doesn't have a problem with it.
No, he didn't have.
The other guys do.
Right.
The jealous leaders. Notice that pride and vanity. So these government officials, they think. They say, okay, now we can get rid of this Daniel. This is their scheme. This is what's going on in their minds. But simply because he didn't volunteer for this position. Remember, he didn't even volunteer to be in the Babylonian Empire.
No.
He was taken and placed there. And of course, the bottom line is, and I'm going to keep saying it through the book of Daniel, God is in control. Wherever you are, wherever a believer is, geographically, God is in control. So let's read on here. Note that here's my note. Darius apparently does not consult with Daniel about this decree. Remember earlier, Daniel's question to a former leader, or Nebi, was, why so quickly? Why did you do this so quickly?
Right, but the guy brought it back to the king. They didn't. They're the ones that were conspiring against Daniel now. So
now then, 10:11 says, oh, they just couldn't wait to get him. They just couldn't wait to snare old Daniel in their evil trap. And how many evil folks are there around the believers today to get at them for trusting in the one true God? How Satan and his minions are running rampant, like Peter says, as a lion seeking whom he may devour. Daniel and his 3 friends went, when they go into something, God sees them through it. Notice this. Notice what happens. The 3 friends, they didn't die in the fire furnace. Jesus was right there with them. Believers today, you and I will go through stuff, but stay faithful, because if we go to it, we're going to go through it. That's what the Bible says. Here we see Daniel does not back down. I like this part here. Daniel does not back down. He simply continues to do his routine openly. He's not scared. He's not bowing down to society. When a government intervenes with one's faith, faith wins. So Daniel kneels on his knees, but it's not just his knees, it's his heart that is kneeling before the God of heaven. In a crisis, in a prayer, in a crisis, folks, that comes up into your life, don't put God on the back burner and try to fix it yourself and flit around trying to fix it yourself. Prayer and supplication and intercession and everything else, that should be first. Drop on your knees before the God of heaven. If you do it physically, that's fine, but your heart is bowed, your neck is bowed to Him. Lord, help me. You know the situation. Help me through this situation.
Right.
I don't even pray to help out of the situation. Just help me through it. Don't keep me from it, but keep me through it. How about that?
Yep.
So read your 10 and 11. Now notice this, folks. Notice what's going on here. Now all of the leaders of the realm are against this man, but notice what Daniel does.
10 through 12. But when Daniel learned that the law had been signed, he went home and knelt down as usual in his upstairs room with its windows wide open toward Jerusalem. He prayed 3 times a day, just as he had always done, giving thanks to his God. Then the officials went together to Daniel's house and found him praying, really, and asked for God's help. So they went straight to the king and reminded him about his law. Now we don't know what the time frame is between here and there, right?
Oh, it's I'm going to say within just a few days.
Okay.
Because they give Daniel the opportunity to be snared.
Right.
See,
Be
the decree's
deceived.
going out, and give that a little while for that to be brought to the king. Him sign it, then butter him up. Him thinking, oh, here I am. He's puffed up now with a bit of pride.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an evil man. He doesn't lurk out to seek evil and to destroy, especially God's people at this time. Daniel is his right-hand man, but he fails to ask him his opinion. He fails to do what Proverbs tells us, seek wise counsel.
Mm-hmm.
All these people come up to him and they open their mouths. The first thing they say, Bill, is, oh, King Darius, live forever. Well, that makes him feel good, doesn't it?
Sure
And they
does.
say, we have this decree, so we're going to go get it, bring it back to you. And it doesn't mean anything. All your leaders, we are powerless without your signature. So that he's puffed up now. You see how they're backhanding Daniel with all this?
Yeah. So continuing on, did you not sign a law that for the next 30 days, any person who prays to anyone, divine or human, except you, your majesty, will be thrown into the den of lions? You said 12, that's what 12.
Now, see, they're again, they're puffing him up, they're buttering him up, and so they've got Daniel over here, right where they want him, they think. They've got the king over here, and they hate this man Daniel. Does it say anywhere in this text Daniel ruled over them roughly?
No.
He was first in command, and he knew that he had the king's ear, not literally, but he could do anything because he was the chief of presidents, and he ruled over the governors. And no, it doesn't say that at all. He worked with them. He tried to work with them. Gee, have we had other leaders like that to try to work with other people? Put United States, Washington, D.C., 2021 in this picture. Does this sound familiar?
Yes.
Does it sound like we're reading yesterday's headlines and tomorrow's headlines out of the New York Times? Yes, it do. You've got evil people who are not satisfied with the position that they have, making millions of dollars and being world famous. They want something else. First of all, they want the one that is of God, not there. Even though that one's trying to work with them, that one's trying to
Right.
further the kingdom. That was Daniel's position, was to further the kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, that Daniel, 13 there, that Daniel, which is of the children of captivity of Judah. See, they try to put him in his place. Oh, king, if you'll remember, he's not one of us.
That's right.
That's what they're saying. He's a Jew. He's of the captivity. Well, he's only been there 63 years now.
Yeah, he was here before you guys were born.
He regardeth not thee, O king. Now, that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying there. This is another time that Daniel is lied about, a blatant lie. Not a half lie, not a conspiracy, not a, oh, let's try to trap. This is an outright lie. They lied about him. He regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Oh my goodness. To make old Daniel look really bad, they outright lied to the king.
Sure did.
Well, here now is Darius. He is put between a rock and a hard place
Mm-hmm.
by his own doing, folks. He's not innocent in this matter. He let pride and his own thought of being power. He's already king. He's already king over the realm. And now then, that Daniel, I'm told that he doesn't regard me. Well, wait a minute. Daniel is my number one man. Daniel is my vice king. If I step off of the throne and go somewhere, Daniel's in charge. Daniel's the boss. You mean he's not regarding what? No, he don't. He's just like, whatever. This is not true. This is a lie. You ever had people lie about you, Bill?
Oh, sure.
14 says, then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. I bet right then he kicked himself in his royal buttocks and said, why did I ask Daniel? Why did I bring him in for a quick converse? Conversation. Yeah. A talk with me about this. The guy that everything that I've set him out to do, he does. He brings back, if something's not doing right, he goes out, he fixes it, comes back, reports to me, it's done. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to watch Daniel. I have to micromanage him like I said a while ago. He knows what's going on, and he is out for my best interest. Now then, I've put him in a pickle.
Yeah, but this thought has come across my mind. He's the king.
He's the king.
He can do whatever the heck he wants.
Not now, though.
He could have. I mean, he can overrule himself. Our president does it all the time.
But he can't. According to the laws, go with me.
Okay, well, I understand what you're saying.
Well, go back over to Ezra Chapter 4 and Esther Chapter 1, and throughout Psalms, speckled here and there, there are certain decrees that a nation has that they all lived by, and if the king here tried to go back on his word, they would come up against him and go, you can't do that. The law of the Persians says not even you can change your law.
So what you're saying is once the king signs it into law, it's law.
It was law.
And if he goes back on it, it's going to...
He's not king. He has broken the law.
Yeah.
This is their mindset. Now, is that a good law to have? Sounds a bit binding unless you really research what you're signing.
True.
Gee, let's not have a stack of books over here on my desk. What does this one say? I don't know. Just sign it.
That's what Biden did during the executive orders.
Now we give $450,000 to every immigrant that's come across here from 1973 to 2008, and we think they might have been misplaced from their parents. Give them $450,000, and their family's $1 million. You poor taxpayers out here that was born here.
Also true. I heard that and I couldn't believe it.
You see what's happening in our nation right now?
But they're not going to do that. They can't do that. With the money, I mean, $450,000. I mean, I could do a lot with that.
Could you?
Yeah. I'm lucky to go from payday to payday. Well, anyway.
Notice 14 though, when he heard these words. Now, why didn't he think about that, folks? Here's the question. Mull this over in your brain. Why didn't he say to himself while he was signing that, no one in my kingdom for 30 days can say anything to any god or man except me? Wait a minute. Here again, in this time frame, some kings, some pharaohs, some leaders were regarded
as a god
by their population. They would look up, who's on the throne? So and so. Oh, well, he's not only our king, he's our God. The gods must have placed him there, so he's indwelt by the gods. That's what they looked at.
That's a good point.
This is what they puffed Darius up with. So for a moment of self-gratification, for self-centeredness, for ego, and for pride, he signed it going, wow, it's just, and plus it's just for 30 days too. But wait a minute. Oh, Daniel, he prays every day 3 times a day. No, he didn't read that into it. He didn't think about that. That wasn't in there.
He sure thought about it when they come back and brought Daniel to him. And said, hey, guess what? He's been
Why
praying.
didn't he even think of Daniel?
I don't know. It was meant to be.
Yep. Otherwise, we can't get to the kitty story.
I know. Let's
There
get
you
to
go.
the kitty story.
Now, I want to
Oh,
bring
and
up...
also, it doesn't go too good for the other guys.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you had it ahead. I want you to remember the ending of verse 7, because this is going to be very particular in my notes if we get to it today. O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now that's the law, that's the decree, right? That's all it says. You notice that? At the end of verse 7?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever does anything other than to you, God or man, whatever else, in the kingdom for 30 days, from the signing of this, for 30
It
days.
says anyone divine or human, except to you.
Except to you, will be what? Cast and put into, thrown into
Yep.
a lion's den. We'll keep that in mind.
Yep. Very important.
15 says, then these men assembled. We got to stop. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Okay? So in other words, make sure of it first. Whatever you're doing, make sure that that is a good decree that you're signing. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, here he is. Now here Darius is talking. Does Darius have faith in God? Let's ask this question. Does Darius have faith in the God that God is going to deliver Daniel?
It looks like he does.
He says unto Daniel, thy God, capital, one, singular, and capital. Thy God, whom thou servest continually. That answers our question. Yeah, Darius knew that he had been praying to him. What I asked you a while ago?
Yep.
He knew.
He knew.
He will deliver thee. So according to 1 Corinthians 15:58, we are to be steadfast. We are to stay faithful even though we're being lowered down. Now, to give you a little bit of background of what the scene is, a lion's den at this time would have 2 entrances. One of them would be on the top part for the people that would take care of the lions, quote unquote, would have a little opening at the top of the den. Around back, maybe in a hillside or a cliff, whatever else, would be the opening that would be dug out into to make the pit. That's what a den, a lion's den in the Persian area would mean. It means to dig out a pit. So you have a large area, quite a bit bigger than this room probably, where you would have not old, toothless, gnarly lions, young, healthy, robust, fully maned, big-toothed, claws, hungry lions. So that area would be led, where they would be led to, they would be captured and led to, and put in the pit. And then it would be covered so they couldn't get back out. It's like a trapdoor. The other opening, somewhere off somewhere, would be where they would lower food and waters and stuff like that down to where the lions couldn't, they could look up, but they couldn't leap out of it. That would be the opening. This is probably where Daniel is being led to and then let down. So if he's on a rope or some sort of sheets put together, whatever else, anyway, he is looking down at these lions, looking right into their eyes and hearing them growl and watching them mope around because they probably hadn't been fed in a day or two.
Well, that was the whole idea.
And they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Now then, where's Daniel's faith? The king, you got him running over here to the den, over to the den entrance, the entrance where Daniel's being led down to. Oh, keep the faith, Daniel. That God that you serve continually, He's going to deliver you. You just keep the faith, and there he goes. He's being led down. Now, who was ultimately in charge of him being put into the den? Darius.
Yeah. He had no choice. He could have put him in the den and take him right back out again.
Just for a slight mauling, is that what you're saying? Just for a real quick maul, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, folks! It makes you wonder here. So a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den. I don't want to go too far. We will go about 50 minutes now, right?
Yeah.
And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords to prevent illegal rescue there, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. So all that is done. So these yahoos in the realm think, oh, this is what's going on. Now, folks, I want you to understand, is this a good picture of what was happening to Jesus Christ on the cross when he was being led up Golgotha's hill, when he was being whipped and beaten at the whipping post, when he was being led up and put and nailed to the cross? Don't you think all of hell was just going, oh yes, we've won. That Son of God, he can't get to us anymore, because even the demons knew that when Jesus walked by, he was the Son of God. What do you, Jesus the Christ, the Son of the living God, the Messiah, the true Savior of the world, what do you have to do with us? What are you going to do with us? Then you had power over them. So here, think of those 120 counselors and governors and satraps and all the princes there. They're in the background just wringing their hands going, we've got him. We've got that old Jew. He's going down to the lion's den, and we don't have to put up with him anymore. I wonder who's going to be number one now. There's never any satisfaction in these idiots. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Nobody outside of the realm of God is ever satisfied with anything, because the world can't satisfy you. Okay, so we are at 18. We're on right now.
Yeah, 18.
Shall we stop along about right there? That's a good little.
Well, yeah, 18 is a good place to stop.
Oh my goodness, Bill is just.
Yeah.
So now then he's let's just leave it with he's lowered down into the lion's den, and we're going to see who gets a good sleep this night. Is it going to be Darius back in the palace, or is it going to be Daniel? And I want to leave you with this very
Maybe
deep.
we should leave it 17 then.
I want to leave you with a very deep theological question here, Bill. I want you to answer. Ponder on this, folks, with me this week. Did Daniel use these lions as big, warm, fuzzy blankets and throw pillows and just cuddle up right with them and have a really good night's sleep, while Darius is back at the palace wringing his hands going, I need another pill to go to sleep with. What's going on? What's going on? Because remember, the law was cast into the den of lions. Now, apparently this has been happening. And up until now, no one cast into a den of lions ever came out alive.
Well, I mean,
Or they might not have ever come out. They were probably eaten by the lions, you reckon?
I believe so.
So let's leave a little ... right there and wonder what old Daniel, I think he got the best sleep of his life.
I think Daniel did. The king did.
I think he said, oh, here, kitty, oh, your mane is so soft, and he fluffs it up like that right there, and that old lion just goes, rawr, and puts his arm around Daniel, and he cuddles up with him, and another one comes and lays over there, and he's like laying up in the palace, and being, every time the lion takes a breath, and then they start purring. Can you imagine a lion or a lioness purring? That's like your bed has the vibrator on it, the massage. I think Daniel had the best sleep of his life.
I think I would too.
Sure enough. Oh, good kitty. Oh, that's a good kitty. He starts naming them. There's Leo, and there's Nebby, and there's Belshazzar. I don't know if you named that or not. Anyway, any comments about that?
I can hardly wait to get in verse 18.
We'll leave off right there and finish 17 to 18 and finish that one up next time. Alrighty, folks. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the beautiful sunshine and pleasant weather that the Lord has given us. And we will see you on the flip side.
Well, that was a pretty good study, huh? Even though we got into only 16 verses, 17 verses of Daniel chapter 6, it gets pretty interesting from this point on. And so, like I say, we're going to do a ... there at the end. So if you want to find out what's going on, you need to read the rest of Daniel, because it's very interesting. I tell you what, these are barn burners. These are page turners. I mean, these studies are amazing. And I had me to making a correction. I had put out earlier on Facebook that we were doing Daniel chapter 7. I was mistaken. It should be Daniel chapter 6. So we'll But we'll get into Daniel, maybe 7 next week too, because we've only got a few more verses in 6. So you can still read Daniel chapter 7. Hey, what the heck, right? Read it. So we'll catch you next week. God bless you all, and God bless America. God bless troops and our first responders. We'll see you next week. Bye.